What's going on, family? So this woman claims men no longer approach women in the church anymore. So we have this clip that I found on social media that it's been surfacing around where this woman who's a Christian is talking about the current state of dating and men in the church. So we're going to react to this clip, but before we do us a quick favor, like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell. So
now, you tell me if this makes sense to you. There's this guy that goes to my church and this lady that I know, and she introduced me to the guy maybe like this past summer, so like some months ago, right? Introduced, I'm like, hey, how are you? You know, it was a real nice introduction, and then that was it. Apparently, he's interested, so talk to me. Like, so on Sunday, she saw me. I hugged her, you know, hey, how you doing? She was like, let me introduce you to this young man. I said, ma'am, you've already introduced me to him before. And she was like, I have? I said, yeah. She was like, well, he's a great young man, and I feel like y'all two, you know, it would be nice if y'all two, you know, like spend some time together. I said, he doesn't say nothing to me, so I don't say nothing to him. And she was like, well, he said that you said you won't be looking his way. Let me repeat myself. He don't say nothing to me, so I don't say nothing to him. I don't pursue. I don't chase. I don't insert myself. I don't do none of that. Now, mind you, this man works on the parking lot ministry, right? Or the ministry that's outside telling you where to park and stuff. Sweetie pie, you trying to talk to me? Tell me you'll park my car. Save me a parking spot close to the door. Okay? Tell me you'll drive me up to the front. Or you'll meet me up at the front and then you'll go park my car for me. That's how you talk to a woman. I don't know what be possessing y'all to think that we as the women gotta do the pursuing, the chasing, and all of that. Baby, I accept what's given to me. I reciprocate. But to reciprocate something, it has to be given to you first. No. Over are the days of me putting myself out there. Over are the days of me inserting myself. Over are the days of me looking dumb, desperate, and dusty. Over are those days. Like, that was never my style. Why would I start now? I don't care how good of a young man he is. If he's a young man who is deaf, mute, and dumb, then I don't want to talk to him. Like, I'm sick of this. I'm sick of it. Y'all, I'm so over these men. It's sassy. You a grown tail man. And you can't open up your mouth and say hello to somebody and your excuse is, oh, she don't look my way. Make me look your way. Give me something to look at. Like, that's why I be quiet, because if you can't even speak to me in the parking lot, you sure can't handle me in this mouth. Make it make sense. If you're going to do anything in this world, make it make sense. Okay?
all right, so I got a lot of thoughts on this, but I'm gonna open it up to you. Let you go first.
I feel sis on wanting to be pursued. Let's say that first and foremost. I'm 100%. I was the same way. I'm not about to go and chase after nobody, right? I want my husband to pursue after me, right? Taking that after the Bible. Okay, I agree 100%. Now, in this situation, she was introduced to a guy at church, you know, by seemed like a lady at the church, whatever. I think you two would be nice to get to know each other, things like that. She said they haven't talked since. This is the part where I just kind of disagree with sis, because if she says she knows that he does the car parking all the time, whatever, she seemed like he, you know, she thought he was a nice guy too, nice looking, blah, 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 blah. She can say hi.
Yeah.
She can smile. Be like, oh, hi, you know, my name is this, blah, blah, blah. Maybe she didn't get to say that when the lady introduced him. I don't know. Be like, your name is this, right? Oh, okay, yeah. You know, I remember you from Sister blah, 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 introducing us. Whatever. You are not pursuing him. You are not asking him to marry you. You just saying hi and being friendly, right? Show yourself friendly, like the Bible says, because now you've been introduced. So he's not a stranger anymore. You see him every Sunday. What you be doing? And this is what I will say. Last thing. Sometimes us women don't realize that our face is looking very intimidating. And I'm going to admit it, you know what I'm saying? We just like, I was just looking. She said, give me something to look at. Give me a reason to blah, blah, blah. But what I'm saying is, like, if you know you're going to see him getting ready to park your car, or you know you see him passing by, make sure you smile. Make sure you say hello. You can just do a wave, you know, whatever. That's not pursuing him. That's completely okay. That's just being friendly and being nice. And a sister in Christ. I'm not sure sis is doing that. Like, she could just be looking straight, whatever in the face, and he just looking like, oh dang, like she acting like we weren't even introduced. Let me leave her alone because she's clearly not interested. So I'm not there to see how she be looking. Yeah. I'm like, I'm gonna give him a little bit of the benefit of a doubt. Sis probably is looking like she's not interested.
Yeah, I kind of lean your direction on this because I do agree that there are a lot of men that are either too shy, that come off like they're waiting for you to do something versus them actually having the courage to like approach a woman, do things like that, or just even small things. And it's like if you have an interest in a person, if you're not doing anything on your end, that doesn't help the cause either. But I just feel like her rationale for this just feels a little bit off. It feels as if she is doing things that would communicate a certain thing. She even said, I think the lady, I guess, that is trying to convince her to talk to this guy or to, get to know this guy because he's a nice guy or whatever. Yeah. It sounds like he told her, I don't know why she's the middleman in all of this, but it sounds like he told her like, she kind of coming off like she don't really, like I don't exist or like, she don't really have any interest. It's not, I don't get, you know how people talk the vibes and all this stuff. Like I'm not, the vibe I get from her isn't like, oh, there's any openness or interest or whatever. Mm-hmm. And it could just be that she just comes off a way. Like she comes off like she isn't interested in talking, isn't probably looking at him, probably not giving him a smile or, little things that girls do. I feel like that give us at least kind of like that invitation to say something or to maybe be more intentional. Like just a smile, just, looking my way and wave and stuff like that. I mean, you see him all the time if he's doing, I guess, what did she say?
The parking ministry.
Parking ministry. So she's probably seeing him. She's definitely had a thought or two about him at least. Mm-hmm. So there's that. I think she comes off mad aggressive for no reason about this. She definitely comes off as somebody that's had a lot of frustration in the area of dating. Mm-hmm. That's just very clear in like her doing it. Now, obviously, we understand that people embellish stuff for TikTok, and it's like a TikTok video originally. People embellish and go a little bit over the top to get views and clicks. And I'm not trying to like assume her motive is like to get attention, but yeah, sometimes you got to put on a show. And this video did come off less as a venting session, more of like, okay, I'm going to sell this and all of that. I don't have an issue with that because it's, everybody got to get your views, you got to get your you got to get your metrics. So you want to get your point across. So you're going to sell it a little bit more. But I do think that because of all of those elements, there is an aspect where people will read into this and be like, oh, you're a little bit aggressive. Like you're kind of masculine in some ways and stuff. And I just knowing guys, like that's going to come off funny. I think even like one of the comments on there, like on the video here, it says like, one of the top ones was, I think men absolutely pursue, but only if they're interested. And I thought that was a good point. It's like if a guy is that interested in you, he will start to find ways and excuses to be around you. Those things that she threw out. Now, maybe she was thinking for a little bit too much, like, oh, he take care of her park and all this. Like some of the stuff, I'm like, he don't gotta do all that. But I do think that if he was really interested in you, then maybe he would try harder. And I feel like her not catching that kind of lends to the self-awareness. Now, sure, if someone's telling you like, yeah, he's interested, but he's not saying it, I get it. That could be frustrating if if it comes off like he's weak. Or maybe he's seeing you and he's like, hey, you look the part. And I saw her IG. She has her IG in there. And she's not a bad looking person at all. Like I can see why somebody would see her and would be interested just off of that. But then if you get the impression that like, oh man, she seems a little bit mean, she's not that approachable. And I'm not trying to play off of different tropes that some black women deal with, because this is a common thing that people say about black women is some can come off like, a little bit rough around the edges, not that approachable, a little masculine, a little too tough. And I'm not saying men are intimidated. Intimidated gives the impression like you're scared. No, it's just like, I might not want her to like respond in a way that comes off like kind of mean. Like I don't want to get treated like I don't want my life to be treated just because I was trying to, compliment or whatever. Because some people are like that. So it's not so much fear, but it's more like, okay, you don't seem like, you don't come off you might look feminine on outward, but there's something about like the way you carry yourself that just feels a little unnecessarily aggressive. I mean, if you watch the video, she's jumping and stuff. She's doing a lot. Like,
now here's the thing.
yeah,
I think about how we be out, in businesses, whatever, minding our business as women,
Sure.
right? And we have a man who is doing the complete opposite, and he's trying to holler, right?
yeah, sure.
And he is more aggressive about it, not shy at all, things like that. And you may just be like looking normal, not even smiling, but he's not getting the picture that maybe you just not interested or things like
sure.
that. And they're going to keep pushing and come on, man, come on. I'm just trying to whatever, right? The whole opposite. So he could be trying to be a gentleman and like, I want to see, does she look interested since we've been introduced? Should I actually start pursuing her? Should I dive more into
Playing
this?
it safe.
It could be something, and not be so aggressive and easy. Because I don't know about you, but a lot of times a man just do it like on the spot, and they just easy. They have the perfect words to say to make you smile, make you giggle, blah, blah. My first thought is, how many times a day does he do this? Because a lot of men just keep shooting their shot just to see which ones land, like you say sometimes. And I'm just like, I don't want that either.
Odds are it will land eventually. No, that's a very valid point.
Yeah.
Sometimes women can have this thing where they don't, and I think I've said this even on this channel, like women don't really know what they want, and guys don't either. A lot of times you find it as you go, and you realize, okay, a lot of times you figure out what you want from what you don't want anyway. So she'll say she wants these things, but then you don't realize the different things that come along with the guy that does do that. Now all of a sudden you don't feel as comfortable because you're like, okay, who else have you done that? Who else have you tried to holler at? I mean, you see a lot of women. There's a lot of women in the church, especially if it's predominantly black. So you're like, okay, who else do you say these things to? That should be that's a reasonable thought to have. So it's not always. It's not even always that. And then here's the other thing. Some people are more introvert. Some people. I don't believe women should pursue men, but I think you made a good distinction. It's nothing wrong with starting up a conversation or just those little icebreaker smiles. And hey, if you think if you've heard he's a good guy, hearing good things about him, someone introduced y'all already, then
they did the hard part.
Someone already helped you out. You had somebody that was a middleman or middlewoman in this case. And it's like, okay, from there on out, you should be, hey, just waving. See, you could start up a conversation and find out, is this person an introvert? They just don't talk like that. And that might not be for you. Be like, okay, yeah, he's an introvert. He don't take enough initiative. I don't like that. And there are some passive men, and I'll give her all the defense for that. But I'm like, there could be an aspect where it's like the person just, you come off a little bit more like, too strong with it. Or you come off a little bit guarded, and you don't even realize that. Sometimes people have this aura that they let off where it's like, you don't even realize that you come off as guarded. You come off as mean before they get to know you. And I've been around women that were like that, and I've gotten to know people who I thought was mean. And then when I got to know them, I'm like, you're actually a really nice person. How come no one would know that? Because you don't smile nearly as much. You have a great smile, but don't smile that often. You look frowned up more often than not. So it's like, how would they even know? Like, you could be good looking, but those different things that you're not aware of, again, back to that self-awareness piece, those are some of the things I think about. Now and this is the last thing I just want to end with is, no, I don't think that men no longer pursue women. I think both men and women in our modern context have really settled for less than what we're worth and who we should be, especially as men and women of God, especially in the church. Yeah. And because we settle a lot of times and we're just mimicking what's going on in the world we live in and the culture we live in, I think both men and women are lesser versions than what they should be. Like, I don't think a woman should be on social media complaining like this. Someone complaining about this type of stuff in the way that she chose to do just comes off in poor taste anyway, but just the overall aggressiveness with it, and like, just obviously you're disappointed in your dating life and all of that, which is understandable because there's some trash men. There are some trash men to select from, but at the same time, it's like there are certain characteristics that won't benefit you, and that's why I said the comment section was very telling, because a lot of people might have understood where she was coming from, but they're like, yeah, but this approach kind of like, yeah, I get why somebody wouldn't want to approach you. If this is how you are, this is how you really feel about this stuff. You calling men sassy and stuff like that. Yeah. And I commend her for not cursing. She talking your tail, whatever. Yeah. I can commend her for not cursing and stuff, but like, I'm like, yo, you kind of come off a way. I don't know if I'd feel like comfortable with being around you. Like, you turn up on me. So ultimately, I think we both, men and women, are much more diminished because of allowing so much the worldliness into the church, and just the lack of male presence in the church. So many women in the church, you don't even have good examples of strong, masculine men. So a lot of men are a lot more feminine than they should be as well. So those are kind of my thoughts on it. Did you want to chime in on that aspect?
No, that's really all I have. Like, sis, if you're interested, go speak to him. Go
Talk
to him.
We're not even saying shoot your
Be
shot.
friendly.
Just be
That's
friendly.
it. That's all you have to do.
Be somebody worth pursuing. Don't just don't keep it. Don't be a secretive about those qualities. Like, if you're a happy person, be happy. If you're not the type of person to say hey to somebody, then don't expect them to go out of their way, or don't expect the guy that sees that you never smile and things like that, not feel as comfortable, or feel like, hey, when she go back, she don't even look my way at all. Like, that communicates things. Nonverbals, a lot of our communication is nonverbal, more than what we say. It's a lot of times the impression we give people, and those are some things that we sometimes lose track of, but we got to be self-aware. So those are our thoughts on this. We'd love to know what you all think. Before you head out, do us a favor, like this video, subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on any future videos.